Good afternoon. I'll be presenting a case of ocular chemical injury, following which disc edema was noted.
Next speaker be ready, please.
Ocular chemical injury represents 3.9% of ocular traumas in children under 14 years of age and 10 to 22% of all ocular trauma. There are already well-known consequences like corneal opacity, chronic ocular surface disorders, anterior segment inflammation, and cataract. This is a case where disc edema was noted post-chemical injury, which is only a handful of cases are documented. Our patient was a 5-year-old male. He was brought to the casualty 3 hours after a history of button battery being inserted into his right eye. He had symptoms of right eye lid swelling, pain, redness, watering, and frothy discharge. After an open globe was ruled out, the eye was first irrigated with 1 liter Ringer's lactate solution. The button battery, which had leaked, was noted to be pushed back far into the superior fornix around the 12 o'clock position. It was removed using Gesma's lid retractor with LIMS forceps. The battery acid segments adherent to the lid margins were removed, and the eye was irrigated with Ringer's lactate once again. Vision post-thyroid wash was finger counting at 3 meters in the right eye. The left eye, which was unaffected, was 6 by 6. On anterior segment evaluation of the right eye, there was lid edema with battery particles adherent to the lid margin, evident congestion and chemosis. Diffuse corneal edema with a macular corneal opacity from 3 to 6 o'clock within the inferonasal quadrant, adjoining the nasal limbus, with an overlying large epithelial defect measuring 3 by 2 mm and 3 cloacas of limbal ischemia. So this was around the Roper Hall classification of grade 2 to 3. There was no RAPD noted at this time. There was no abnormality detected when the eye was dilated under hematropine. The patient was subsequently started on topical medication, topical antibiotics, lubricants, and cycloplegics, and daily sweeping of fornices was done with a glass rod. Despite all the systemic and topical treatment, there was a non-healing epithelial defect. So on day 5, post-trauma, right eye amniotic membrane transplantation was done after ischemic conjunctiva was excised. On post-operative day 12, the conformer was removed and the epithelial defect was noted to be healed. There was possible recanalization and vascularization of 2 to 3 blood vessels, and corneal haze had increased. We started the patient on a low-potency steroid as well. On post-operative day 16, the vision had improved to finger counting at 4 meters and anterior subcapsular cataract was noted. On post-operative day 19, the vision had dropped to finger counting at 3 meters and a grade 1 RAPD was noted. So we dilated the patient since the media had relatively cleared due to the healing of the epithelial defect and settling of corneal edema. And we could see disc edema with hyperemic disc with blurred and elevated margins. No CD ratio could be assessed. The left eye fundus details were within normal limits. So thereafter, pediatric reference was done to rule out COX, and intravenous methylprednisolone was started, a 3-day course as per the weight of the baby. An MRI was done, and it only revealed preseptal edema. After 3 days of IV MPS, the vision improved to finger counting at 4 meters, and there was relative resolution of the hyperemic disc and disc edema. 3 months later, now the vision is improved to 6 by 9, and there's just a symblepharon arising from the upper fornix and the pseudopterygium noted nasally as post-chemical injury sequelae. So we infer that optic nerve inflammation. Yes. Optic nerve inflammation in case of chemical injury is not due to the direct effect of the alkali, it's due to the inflammatory reaction due to pro-inflammatory cytokines being released and diffusing to the posterior segment. Tumor necrosis factor alpha has been implicated, so therefore prompt anti-TNF alpha treatment like infliximab within 15 minutes of chemical injury can be used. So in this case, we are suspecting the proximity of the battery to the posterior pole may have led to diffusion of the alkali, triggering the inflammatory pathways. And the patient presented after 3 hours, so possible retention of the small part of the battery could promote excessive inflammation as well. So we would like to do posterior segment evaluation wherever possible in every case of chemical injury if the media permits.